So now that your canvas is set up to be the right size, we're going to go ahead and set the background for your infographic. The way you'll be setting up your infographic for this project is you will have text and data on top of a background image. You've already chosen your research that you're going to be including, and so you will know exactly what type of information is going on the infographic. I'm going to take you to a website. And these websites that we talk about here are going to be listed in your student agenda on page 22 and 23. And one of the things that is very important is for you to recognize that images that are on the internet can't all be used without permission from the people who put them there. So we're going to give you some sources of images that you have permission to use built in, or it's easy to figure out how to use them. So for your background image, we'd want you to start with a website called Pixabay.com. So you'll open up a new tab and go to Pixabay.com. And you'll come to what looks like an image search screen. A couple of things to consider when you come here. A lot of times your topic for your research is one of the worst searches you can do for the image that you're looking for. So I'll use as an example bottom trawling. If bottom trawling is your topic, then if you search for bottom trawling, you're not going to find anything that would be able to be used for that there. So as you're searching for images for this project or anything that you're really doing is set up your search after you think about what do you want people to see. So you don't necessarily need to see people see bottom trawling, but you need to see something that represents it. So we could think about, where does bottom trawling take place? So it takes place in the ocean. And we would have options for this to be able to use. If we wanted to be a little more specific, we know that it would take place on the ocean floor, and that would then change our search. So I've done now 3 different searches in order to find images that I think that I would like to use. And that's an important thing to understand too, that research involves doing things more than once. That's the re part of searching. You search and search again. That's why it's called research. When you find an image that you'd like to use, you'll be able to bring it into your Google Drawing. I do want to point out that at the top right here, the images in Pixabay that are listed across the top are always what are called sponsored images. And so sometimes they come from Shutterstock, these ones come from Adobe, but these images are for sale. They are for purchase. So in order to use the image, you would need to buy it. And a lot of times they'll have that watermark, those letters that are kind of across the middle, or X's and things on them. And when you purchase the image, then you get a copy of the image that doesn't have that there. So a business would buy an image to use on their website professionally, or in their flyers or brochures. You're not going to be purchasing any images for that. It's important that you never use watermarked images in any of your work, because that lets your audience know that you're using an image that you're definitely not allowed to use. So you're going to want to choose from here where it'll show you the free images based on your search. So I'm going to pick this ocean floor right here and click on it. So same as with Google Images, you want to go all the way into the image to get to it. Don't copy your image from the search results screen. Here you'll see that we have a Pixabay license that tells you exactly how you can use this. So this is free for commercial use and no attribution is required. And what that means is that you're allowed to use this image in the work that you're doing, and you don't even have to tell anybody where you get it, which is great, because that's what we normally do anyway with images. And we'll talk about how to give credit to images there in a second. So you can do a right click and copy the image. If you are working on a Chromebook and do not have a right click feature, a 2-finger tap on the touchpad will do the same thing as a right click. So we copy that image. Make sure you copy image and not image address. Come back to your Google Drawing, right click and paste. If that doesn't work, you may need to use the Control V function on your keyboard to do that. So here's my image. Now what I like to do with my images is I like to make my canvas the same size as the image. So I'm going to move this up to the corner. And as I move my images around, you'll see I have these red lines across the top and on the side. And that means I'm locked into the exact spot where the canvas ends. So I'm going to move that up into the corner first. And then I'm going to drag the image bigger so that it is the same size. You want to be real careful about using the middle handles to drag your images, because that will sometimes, depending on what your images, stretch or squish the image itself. So you want to be real careful about doing that. What I will usually encourage you to do is drag the corner, so you keep the proportions the same until you are locked into one side here, and then you are able to click on the canvas itself and use this handle down here at the bottom to shrink the canvas to the size of the image. Okay, so now I have an image that is the same size as what I am using for my canvas.